Take an oath. May you please follow me as I dictate. May you please say aye and state your names in full.
I, Samkeliso Mlotshwa,
Swear that the evidence I shall give
swear that the evidence I shall give
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing
and nothing
but the truth.
but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you so much. Kawaze, how much time do you need to lead evidence?
I think an hour.
An hour. An hour. Okay. You have consulted with him on the thematic areas, I guess.
Yes, Chairperson.
Thank you so much. I want to take this opportunity and wish you good luck, yourself and Mr. Mlotshwa, in the presentation of evidence. All the best. It is in your hands.
Thank you, Chairperson. Mr. Mlotshwa, if you could just maybe take it from the top. What is your current employment?
I don't know. Because it's 12 months not getting a salary. I don't know where I stand. But please, Chair, through you, can I address the preamble to the affidavit before we can go through the sworn statement?
Yes, you may.
Okay. Honorable Chairperson, members and honorable members and the evidence leaders, I would like to request that I be allowed to address the House before I proceed to start with my sworn statement. It is very important that I provide the context to the sworn statement and what my opinion is central and key to what has transpired in the events that occurred from November 2024 to current. Those events and incidences undermines our constitution, human rights, human dignity, and respect principles of international law as set out in the United Nations Charter on Torture. Honorable members, Chairperson as the executive, those events cannot be allowed to go unpunished, as this undermines the cornerstone of our democracy. The blunted abuse, interference from powerful individuals, coupled with cover-up by the police officers at the highest level, who we task with protecting society. And this country has resulted in a systematic failures that goes to the heart of the rot that is currently plagued the police. The committee and the country will be shocked at the horrific events that unfold here. I can perfectly understand why this would have been a possible trigger for the events on July 6, 2025, for the press conference called by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. I quote from his testimony before the ad hoc committee and the Nhlanhla Commission. General Masemula was at the gate of prison, I close quote. The evidence before you will show that not only was General Masemula before the gates of prison, but so was Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, due to his direct participation in the torture, rendition, arson, and defeating the ends of justice. I will now place the facts and evidence before you as they speak for themselves. I thank you, Honorable Chairperson. With the House permission, I'll proceed to my sworn statement.
We allowed you to make that preface to your statement. You have just concluded your consultations with the evidence leader. She was whispering to me that you did not tell her that you were going to make a preface to your statement.
Sorry, Chair, we were running short of time outside.
No, we don't say sorry. This is not my meeting. This is a meeting of this honorable members. You must apologize to them and also apologize to the evidence leader so that when she raises it, it must not appear like a direct attack on you.
Okay, I'm sorry, evident leaders, honorable members, and the chairperson.
You must apologize. You are sorry, yes, apologize.
I apologize.
Thank you. The apology is recorded. We can now proceed with the evidence leaders on the thematic areas of your statement.
Thank you, Chairperson. Mr. Mlotshwa, well, Sergeant Mlotshwa,
Yes.
we are at paragraph 1 of your statement. We will get to the part about as to the status of your current employment, but your statement at paragraph 1 states that you are employed by the South African Services, the SAPS, and you have been in their employment for quite some time. When did you join the SAPS?
9 January 2006.
On the 9th of January 2006. And was that your first employment? Did you go straight into the SAPS or had you worked somewhere else before?
No, it's my first employment.
Okay. And did you undergo training?
Yes, I did at Pretoria West College, SAPS Training College.
Okay. And what kind of training did you do there?
The basic training for 6 months.
Would you then have resumed work immediately after, or was there further training?
It was a further training. I then went to Matsuli Police Station to do field training for 6 months.
Okay. So when did you start employment?
Employment.
As in following training?
Okay, and after the completion of the basic training and field training, January 16, 2007, I joined border policing station at Libombo Port of Entry, Mpumalanga, Komati Port.
And did you only stay at the border? Did you go to any other stations?
No.
Okay. At paragraph 3 of your statement, you say that you also ran a funeral parlor from Matsulu.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And this was from 2011.
Yes, that's correct.
Did you take any steps to inform your employer about?
Yes, it has been
your
declared.
business?
It has been declared.
It was declared.
Yes.
But you remained in the employ of the SAPS whilst you were running your business.
Yes.
What is the name of your business?
It's SM Funeral Services.
It's in funeral.
Yes.
You then say that at paragraph 2 that you were promoted in 2018. What was the rank following your promotion?
I was promoted to the rank of a sergeant.
And you continue to be a border police?
Yes. Sure.
Could you describe, perhaps you say you were at SAPS for about 20 years. Could you briefly describe like your career progression within SAPS?
I joined SAPS on the 9th of January 2006, completed the basic training around June 2006, and then went to do field training at Matsulu from July to December 2006. And at 2007, 16 January, I joined the border policing as a student constable. And then 1 January 2008, I became a full constable. And then in 2018, I was then promoted to the rank of the sergeant, the rank that I'm currently holding.
Thank you. And Mr. Mlotshwa, you also state that this case has significant relevance to various committees, to this committee, and as well as the Madlanga Commission. Could you explain in your own words the broader implications of the matters that you are presenting today?
It was part of discussion in the famous Pels meeting between Vusi, Musicat Matlala, Major General Senoni, and General Mkhwanazi. And General Masemula has failed to execute his duties in disciplining General Mkhwanazi because he was part of the people who assaulted and tortured us on the 9th of December. He has appointed Major General Bukas to head the disciplinary proceeding of the members of the DPCI, which include Major General Senona, I forget the name of the brigadier, with Colonel Ismail Dawood, Lieutenant Colonel Govenda, Captain Azile Enoch, but he didn't do anything with Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. And Lieutenant General Kumalo of Crime Intelligence, he is the accounting officer of Crime Intelligence. Here, Lieutenant Colonel Dawood is operating crime intelligence offices in the business, in the private business of Vision Technical.
You mentioned that it started with a meeting that occurred in Durban at the Pearls, and you mentioned a specific date. Could you provide context to what this meeting entailed and why is it pertinent for what you are coming to do today?
I was not at the meeting. At the meeting, it was General Senona, General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, and Vusi Musicat Matlala, of which Ket Matlala, before this committee, testified that he was asked by General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi to go and look for his neighbor, Mr. Nangi, to talk to him so that we could withdraw the charges that we've opened against General Mkhwanazi and his members.
I see.
Yes.
So before we talk about those charges, why don't we get to those charges? At paragraph 8.5 of your statement, sorry, the reference I gave you relates to your previous statement. At paragraph 8 of your statement, are background facts, and you describe an incident that took place, particularly at paragraph 8.1. You mentioned that on the 10th of September 2024, a Stanger businessman, Zakaria Desai, was kidnapped outside a mosque after the evening prayers. And the matter was then investigated. For the record, who is Mr. Zakaria Desai and what is your involvement to him? We are at paragraph 8 where you detail.
I don't know Mr. Zakaria Desai. What I know is that he is a businessman from Stanger who was kidnapped on the 10th of September 2024 at Guaduguza. My involvement in this matter, I was alleged to be one of the suspects who kidnapped Mr. Zakaria Desai.
Where were you on the 8th of, on the 10th of September?
On the 10th of
2024.
December, I was at Goma Depot at work. My shift was started at 6 until 18 hours. So I was in Goma Depot.
So your shift ended at 1800 hours on that evening.
Yes.
And after your shift ended at 1800 hours, where did you go?
Went to the barracks.
Okay. So you were relaying the story on the 20th of November, 2 months after this alleged kidnapping that you came to know about. Where were you?
I was in Maputo.
What were you doing in Maputo?
I was on a business trip repatriating the remains of the immortal remains of a client.
The client.
Yes.
Where exactly? And then what happened whilst you?
I received a call from my neighbor, that there were people with guns at my house. I therefore phoned Matsulu police station, who went to attend the scene. When they get there, they found police. They found those guys inside their house. And then they introduced themselves as police from KZN who were working on the kidnapping case.
And what did the police do?
Which one?
The ones from Matsulu.
They then left.
Okay. Did they give you a report back on what they found and why they were satisfied? Why did they leave?
Yes, they give me a report. They said that it was a police who were working on the kidnapping case.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your reaction to that?
No, I was so relaxed because I've not got nothing to do with kidnappings.
And then on the 23rd at 8.3 of your statement, you say that you were arrested on the 23rd of November in the north of Maputo while you were on this business trip. Why were you arrested?
I was arrested by Brigadier Mendes of SAPS, who is based in Mozambique, who is working for the TP.
We're at 8.3 of your statement.
Yeah, I just want
Okay.
to elaborate on the role of Brigadier Mendes of the SAPS, who's based in Mozambique for the TPC. The TPC is the structure that is monitored by the ministers of police in South Africa, Mozambique, and Tanzania, that is focusing on the organized crime, transnational organized crime.
Okay.
So he arrested me there. They took me to the bush where they questioned me about the kidnapping of Zakaria Desai. They assaulted me. After seeing that I don't have anything to do with the kidnapping, they then took my passport, everything that I had, my passport, ID, bank cards, the money that I was having. They then took me to Maputo.
When they questioned you and took you to the bush,
Yes.
what were you told? Was there a warrant of arrest?
There was no warrant of arrest. There was nothing.
So they came to you. Where did they find you in Maputo?
They find me in the restaurant at Bilane.
In a restaurant?
Yes. After taking those documents, they then took me to Maputo, where they detained me as an illegal immigrant.
Okay. When they found you at the restaurant and you were then arrested, what was the nature of the crime?
They said it's kidnapping.
Kidnapping of?
Zakaria Desai.
Is that the individual that you said was kidnapped on the 10th of September? From
Yes,
KwaZulu-Natal?
because they show me pictures of him. They said it's him. I don't know him.
Did you have any knowledge of this as Mr. Zakaria Desai?
No.
You didn't. So then when you were then arrested at Maputo and your documents, your travel documents were then taken from your person, what was the charge at Maputo police station?
They detained me as an illegal immigrant, as if I was in Maputo illegal.
And when were you then released? What occurred? I mean, if you can just take us through at the point at which you reach Maputo police station and your release.
I think it was on Monday, I think it was the 26th or 25 November 2004. They called a lady from embassy whose name is Humutso, who came and interviewed me, and they arranged for my temporary passport. And then I got the passport on Wednesday on the 27th. The moment she gave me, the station commander came and took the passport.
And how did you then re-enter South Africa?
And then on the following day, the 28th of November, I was then transported back to South Africa, where I was handed over to KZN DPCI tracking team that reports directly to General Mkhwanazi.
When you were handed over, an incident had already occurred at your home. But before we deal with that incident, you then were taken into these cars, and did they take you back to Matsulu police station or your home? Where were you transported to?
No, they took me straight to Watuguza. We drove overnight. I was handcuffed with no official document read to me.
What were you then now arrested for? Why were you taken to Kwaduguza?
They said for kidnapping, attempted murder and extortion.
Is this of the same individual that you were originally, initially been arrested for?
Yes, they say so.
And then when did you arrive in Kwaduguza?
The following morning on the 29th
On the 29th of November.
of November 2024.
You were then charged when you arrived?
No, they just detained me.
They detained you?
Yes, and then later at night, they booked me out, went there to torture and assault me.
Was there any other person arrested with you?
No, I was arrested alone. The two co-accused were arrested before me.
Okay. If you can then take us through the two co-accused. What was the name, their names?
Ishmael Nanji, Ramos, and Stephen Bright.
Okay. And what were they arrested on the same charges?
Yes.
What was the date that the two co-accused were arrested?
They were arrested on the 19th of November, 2024 at Craft, somewhere around Beaufort View. But they were only recorded on the SAPS subs official document on the 21st of November when they arrived at Steng.
Okay. This is at paragraph 8.2 of your original statement. I'm unable to locate it here on your new statement, but I know that it is here. So when you were then, they were arrested on the 17th of,
On the 19th.
on the 19th of November. Do you know what then transpired once they were arrested? They were arrested on the 19th?
They were taken to the Vision Technical Office in Hongqin, where they were tortured. And then on the following day, they drove with Stephen Price to Matsulu. And then from there, they were taken to Watuguza.
Before Kwaduguza.
Sorry?
So they were arrested in where?
In Joburg.
In
Graft.
Johannesburg.
Yes, Graft Road, yes.
So they were traveling from somewhere. Where were they?
They were
coming from?
kept at Vision Technical's office
Okay.
for overnight, where they were assaulted there and tortured.
Where are those offices?
They are in Hongqin,
In Houghton.
yes, in Gauteng province.
Okay, so they were arrested en route from where? Where were they coming from?
Stefan was coming from Mpumalanga, Nangi was coming from Komati Port. He said he was coming from Komati Port to fix his children's school visas.
What is your relationship with Mr. Stefan and Mr. Nangi?
I know Stefan as a brother-in-law to Mr. Nangi and as an employee to Mr. Nangi. I know Mr. Nangi as I can say it's a business associate, because around 2016-17, when I bought my first truck, the 34-tonner, around 2018, I started to source out truck spares from him and tires.
And so this would have been around
18,
2018.
yes.
So in that period, you've become a business associate of Mr. Nangi.
Yes, because even now, when he won this farming stuff, because he's also into agriculture, into farming. So he will send a list of the things we will buy at Nelspruit, and then they will come and collect it in Komati Port.
And Mr. Stefan, what is Mr. Stefan's surname?
It's bright.
Brights.
Yes.
So Mr. Stefan Brights, you said how is he related to Mr. Nangi?
I know that he's a brother-in-law and is also an employee of Mr. Nang.
Okay. So, do you know him? Do you know Mr. Stefan?
Yes, I know him.
So then they were taken to the technical office on the same day, on the 19th.
Yes.
And do you have any knowledge of what may have happened the following day?
They were assaulted, and then on the morning they drove with Mr. Stefan to Mpumalanga, where he spent the past nights there, and then later they were then taken to Watuguza.
In Mpumalanga, do you have any knowledge of what they were doing in Mpumalanga? Why would they leave Johannesburg to go to Mpumalanga on their way to KwaZulu-Natal, Kwaduguza?
They were going to detain them there for the kidnapping case. They were going to charge them for the.
The question, if you just perhaps.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mlotshwa.
Sorry.
Mr. Mlotshwa, the question is, what you've testified is that they were taken from Houghton, the technical offices of Houghton. They were detained there
Yes.
overnight.
Yes, they were
And they were
detained.
assaulted.
Yes.
And they left Houghton, Johannesburg on the following day.
It's only Mr. Stefan
Mr.
who left
Stefan.
early. Yes.
Yes, he left.
To point out where he was the previous night.
Where was he taken?
He was in one of my rooms in Matul, in the
In
house.
Mpumalanga.
In Mpumalanga.
So Mr. Stefan was then transported to your home.
Yes.
What was the purposes of the pointing out?
To show where he was the previous night.
So he had spent the night at your guest house.
Yes.
In Matsulu.
Yes.
From Mpumalanga. So he did the pointing out just only for the purposes of demonstrating, of showing where he had been the night before. What was
Yes.
the purpose of the pointing out?
I don't know from the KZN police, because he told me that they asked him where he's coming from in Mpumalanga. So they wanted to see where he's coming from.
Okay. So he was then transported to KZN.
Yes, they were then transported to KZN.
And were you all booked at the same police station?
Yes, they were all booked at Kwatuguza police station on the 21 of November, 2024.
What was your reaction to seeing Mr. Brights and Mr. Nanji in Mpumalanga with you arrested on the same charge as you?
Pardon, can you repeat the
What
question?
was your reaction? You had already arrived before they were there
Arrived where?
at the police station.
No, I found them
You
there.
found them there.
Yes.
What was your reaction when you found them?
No,
The police
actually, I didn't find them there. They were already at Westville prison when I get to Watuguza police station on the 29th.
How did you come to know that Mr. Nanji and Mr. Brights were arrested in KwaZulu-Natal on the same charge as you?
I was told by the police when they were assaulting me, because they were even offering me 500,000 just to say, to make a statement that Nangik has kidnapped the Zakaria Desai. So they told me.
You state that whilst you were booked in KZN, your house was burnt. Could you relay the circumstances? We are now at paragraph 9 of your statement. Could you relay the circumstances of, or any knowledge that you have of your house being burnt, and what is the significance of it in this hearing?
My house was burned on the 20th while I was away. And then we opened the case, the caretaker opened the case on the 21 of November, which is case 7311-2024 of Matsulu. So the house was badly damaged. And on the day in question, the members of Matsulu reported that, okay, let me go to 9.3 on the statement. Matsulu subs mobilized members from SAPS K9 Public Order Policing and station members and proceed to the location. I refer the committee to the OP entry 2266 made at 1320 after Sergeant Sibia notified the station. Can I go through the statement? All right. And then 9.4, it is important to note that the members from DPCI, CI, and KZN tracking team were already at the premises at 1320. At 1320, it is important, 1320 on the 20. And then I will go to 9.5. The affidavit of Sergeant Sibia is attached as HMM02, where he states that they approached the house tactical due to the fact that the report said the people were armed. I'll go to 9.6. On arrival at the house, the members were informed that the people were from KZN DPCI and they were working on a kidnapping case. The captain from POP interviewed one of the officers present and were satisfied that those were indeed police officers. They left the scene. Here's the important part. 9.7. Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi's statement on ENCA during an interview at the Golf Day in KwaZulu-Natal during January 2025. He said that the house was burnt down by the house was burnt down. It's a mistake here. It was burnt down by the community. It's false. Here it says by the police. It should be the community. He said the house was burnt down by the community, of which it's not true. And a deliberate attempt to conceal the real events that occur. I would like us to...
What do you say are the real events that occurred?
Sorry?
What would you say are the real events that occurred? I think that would start at paragraph 9.8.
Okay. Can we maybe pause and play the video before we proceed to 9.8, the first video?
Honorable Sangoni.
Thank you, Chair. Sorry, I'm just taking advantage of the pause that the witnesses requested. For clarity, Advocate, I'm very lost. Is the house burned down before Mr. Mlotshwa is arrested? Are these the events leading up to the arrest, or when does it happen? Because he had said they were at the house, then he was arrested. Did they come back? If we could just be clarified, please. Thanks.
Okay. Let me clarify that. On that same day, on the 20th, I received a call from Colonel Daoud. I do have his number, I can put it on record, where he said I must release the victim. I asked him which victim, because he said he doesn't want me, he wants the victim. I asked him which victim. So they arrested me after they've burned the house. So I believe they were just trying to cover up for what they did. So I'd like us to play the first video on the Golf Day.
Before we play the video, perhaps for the sake of the committee, when did you learn that your house was burned down?
Yeah, before we proceed, the hand of Honorable Nhlanhla was up. You are covered. Okay. Honorable Skosana.
It's fine, Chair. I was thinking perhaps we can play the video when we finish, because we have other three witnesses. Thank you.
Yes, we can go ahead.
Mr. Mlotshwa, the video will be played at the end of your testimony, but for now, for the sake of continuing, we'll continue, and then at the end, we'll play the video. Perhaps in the meantime, you could send it to Mr. Bonani. Does he have your video?
Yes, he have.
Okay. The question that I had posed to you is, when did you learn about the events that would have happened on the 20th with your house burning down? Because you've testified that on the 20th, you were in Mozambique.
Yeah.
When did you learn that your house, your guest house had now been burned down?
On the 21 of November in the morning.
Okay. And you were
I was still in Mozambique.
you were still in Mozambique?
Yes.
And you did not return immediately?
No, I was still busy that side. They had the caretaker who had to take care of everything there.
You were in the process of relaying the incident that had happened of your house burning down. We were at paragraph 9.8.
Yes. So, no, I wanted to play this video first to elaborate that what General Mkhwanazi said on that interview is liar, is a defamatory statement. So with this 9.8, 9.9, I'm going to support the version that he was lying. So I think it's better if we can just play the first video and then we will move after.
Mr. Mlotshwa, if we could proceed
Okay,
whilst the
can
video is
proceed.
being prepared, yes.
Okay. You can proceed.
We were at, perhaps then we can leave paragraph 9.8 and you can deal with it after the video has been played. But what we now know is that your home had been burned down and you came to know about it on the 21st of November.
Yes.
Your caretaker had at this point was taking care of it and he reported it because you were still busy on business in Maputo.
Yes, he went to the police station with Advocate Vusehodi to open the case there.
Okay,
Because I also had to inform Advocate to Sehodi of what has happened.
okay. You then continue in your statement to
I'll propose that we go to maybe to 11 while we are still waiting for the video because the other parts is going to be covered by the video.
Okay, yeah. Okay. We can now play the video. Okay, I'll propose that we go to a different section of
No
your statement, just for the sake of time. We'll deal with the section at which you had now been booked. You had now been booked at the police station. You say you were not charged. Can you relay the events of what happened after you were booked at Kwatuguza police station?
No, I was then detained there, and then they came, those security guys together with the police officers. One white guy said they must put poison on my food. So during lunch when they served food, I didn't eat. So I sleep there, and then later at night around 9:10, they booked me out. They took me to the upper office where I was tortured and forced to make confession with the promise of 500,000, and they will fix my house only if I can give them Nangi, because they don't want me, they want Nangi.
So you detail torture that you experienced while you were there. Could you relay what happened, the events that led to that torture?
Okay, I think we'll have to go to the 13, to
Yes,
paragraph 13.
13 is.
Okay. On the 9th of December, 2024, myself and my co-accused were transported to Watuguza Magistrate Court for a court appearance. During the court appearance, the investigating officer and the prosecutor requested that we be remanded at Watuguza Police Station cell instead of Westville Correctional Facility. On the same day, at approximately 13 hours, whilst at the cell, myself and Mr. Nangi were booked from lawful custody by Warrant Officer Dion, whose further particulars are not known to me, taken from the cell to an unknown location on a farm. I'll refer the committee to the OP entry, which indicate we were booked out of the cell marked as annexure SHM09, but unfortunately we've requested this OP entry from Makakula in IPD. He couldn't give us. He said if the committee want it, they can request from him. And then I'll move to 13.3. Okay. This is a clear violation of our constitutional right, as we were already represented by a legal counsel, and as such, we should not have been spoken to without our legal counsel being present.
Okay. You also mentioned that when you were transported, how were you transported to this farm? And did you get to, do you know where it is? And who was there?
Okay. I'll go to 13.5. I was transported in a black VW Touareg that belonged to Mr. Jacob Desai's company, Extreme Defense, not in an official police vehicle. My co-accused was transported in a white BMW accompanied by Lieutenant Dina Govender. But me, I was with for security in the black Touareg.
Mr. Mlotshwa, you being a police, in the police services yourself as a sergeant, is it common that a suspect is transported in a private car?
No, it's not.
And you say that who owned this car? What was the marking outside of the car that you were transported in?
It was not marked, it was the uniform. I saw the name of the uniform of those guys who were traveling, who I was traveling with them.
And what was the name of on the uniform?
It's Extreme Defense.
Do you have any knowledge of who owns Extreme Defense?
It's Mr. Jacob Desai, the brother of the alleged kidnapped victim of that Watuguza businessman in Stanger.
Is Mr. Jacob Desai also in the employ of the police services?
No. He's the owner of the security company that was working with the police in this matter.
Okay, so he accompanied police from Watuguza as the brother of the person who was kidnapped.
Yes, he was involved in the operation.
Okay,
Yes.
so you may continue relaying that story.
Okay. Once we arrived at the location, both myself and my co-accused were kept separate at first and then brought into a kitchen where my co-accused suspended between two tables and the neck. He had a plastic bag over his head and he was being suffocated while handcuffed between two tables and had water poured over his face. 13.8. Lieutenant Colonel Dina Govender then entered the kitchen accompanied by the Provincial Commissioner, Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. I was told by the Provincial Commissioner to undress till I was naked. I was instructed to squat before my co-accused private part and ask me to tell who the person that entered the room was by Lieutenant Colonel Govender. In this instruction, I was instructed by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi to squat in front of the accused number one's private part. And then
Had General Mkhwanazi also left KwaDukuza police station at the same time as you and the private security company, or how did he come into the picture?
I don't know, because we were blindfolded with plastic, so we found him there.
Oh, you
At
found him
farm.
at the farm?
Yes, we found him at the farm.
You may continue.
And then 13.10, I told Mr. Nangi that this was Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, who is the Provincial Commissioner of KZN, and he was once the acting National Commissioner. 13.11, during the torture, the Provincial Commissioner was present and participated in the torture. He went as far as telling me that I should have rather committed suicide than coming to KZN. I was also subjected to having a plastic bag filled with water placed over my head and suffocated till I almost pass out. Then the police officer will release the bag and allow me to breathe. The Provincial Commissioner asked about my legal representative was and which union I belong. I replied that I was a member of SAP, and he remarked that he will make sure they never represent me. Once again, Mr. Jacob Desai of Extreme Defense was present at the location during the entire period. The Provincial Commissioner was present and there for approximately 30 minutes while we were being tortured. The relentless torture continued hours after he left. A section 205 of the cell phone of General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, Jacob Desai, Colonel Dina Kavenda, Captain Azile Enoch, Warrant Dion, and Constable Singh will provide the proximity of the farm, the area, and show the phones present together in the same area at the same time.
So those were the events of what happened at that farm.
Yes.
What then happened to you after? Were you transported back to the police station? Were you with Mr. Nangi and Mr. Brides? What happened to the other two?
It was only me and Mr. Nangi in the farm. And then we were transported at midnight. I think we arrived at Stenger around 2 in the morning.
You testified earlier that Mr. Nangi was detained at Westville Prison.
Yes.
So on that evening, he was then booked at KwaDukuza.
We were remanded to KwaDukuza up until the 11th on our next court appearance, where we asked our legal representative to make an application that we should be detained at Westville Prison because of the torture the assault, and so that we can also be able to access medical treatment, because there at KwaDukuza they were denying us after every assault.
Okay, in the next paragraph, you mentioned that you had already been in custody for 10 days at the time. Had you appeared for bail,
No, we didn't.
for a bail application?
No, we didn't, because when the matter was withdrawn on the 22nd of January, we were supposed to make the formal bail application.
Yes, but you were detained at the end of November. And the question is, had you appeared for bail? Because,
We've appeared, but they were postponing it.
so how many times did you appear for bail,
For
bail application?
I think 5 before they withdraw.
And what were the reasons each time that when you appear, why were you not released?
The community will march outside, will beat our legal representative, so the matter couldn't proceed. And then on the 17th of December, they left Mr. Nangi at prison, even though we tell them that we are short of one person who is at G7, I was at G6. They say, no, let's go. And when we get into the court, they inform the magistrate that they couldn't locate the other accused in prison. So they were doing it deliberately just to delay us in applying for the bail.
So at the next paragraph, as a police officer who is a sergeant yourself, had you not reached out perhaps to some of your colleagues because of the circumstances that you found yourself in? What steps did you take to try and get assistance in these circumstances?
I've opened cases. We've opened case at in Joburg. Let me just get the case number here.
Okay, so you did open a case.
Yes, we did.
But you
open a
weren't
case.
able to get assistance while you were incarcerated. That is the question
No,
I'm asking.
no,
So
they
you're
were
not
not.
able to get any assistance from, in terms of your workplace, because you were at the time still working in Matsulu,
No, in Komati-Port Lebong.
in Komati Port Lebombo. What did the unit head say? Had he reached out to you? Had you had any contact with anybody from your workplace who could assist you with this arrest of what you say you did not know of?
No, the unit commander went as far as signing the Section 43 suspension of a police officer while he's in custody. If you go through that section, it's only the rank of the brigadier and above who can sign that thing. Not a not a colonel, not even a unit commander. He was supposed to report the matter to the provincial commander of border policing. The provincial border the provincial border commander will have to report it to national. But in my case, the unit commander was dealing with the KZN investigating team, because even this letter was delivered by Warrant Officer Dion, who is the investigating officer.
Okay. You then deal with irregularities regarding the torture of you and your co-accused. Can you briefly take us through those?
Okay. Subsequently to my co-accused arrest, they were taken to a black site in Hongton, in Hongton.
Yes. I think that you can just summarize them because you've dealt with you've given us the evidence on them having been taken to Houghton and them you can just list the irregularities that you talk about. What was irregular about
what was irregular
the
here
arrest and the torture?
First is the arrest, because when you arrest, you brought a suspect to the nearest police station, not to private property. You brought him to the nearest police station. In these instances, Mr. Nangi's car, the one that he was arrested driving, the Mercedes-Benz, it was last seen at the office of the Vision Technical in Hongton. But currently the status of the vehicle is that it was found burned, abandoned at somewhere around KZN on the 16th of December.
So when they were arrested driving a car?
Yes, they were arrested driving the car. I've put the annexure here. I'll just give you the annexure's number. They were arrested. That car was not booked at the SAP 13. It was taken to the Vision Technical offices where Colonel Dawood is operating the crime intelligence of the country there. And later they alleged that the car was found burned, abandoned somewhere in KZN. I've attached the SAP 13 with the safe inside, with the pen safe, the safe that was stolen from Mr. Nangi's house when they raided it.
Okay. What explanation was given? This is at page 59 of your annexures. It's annexure 11.
Yes.
There you detail it's an entry regarding the car that was in Pietermaritzburg, and it was it stated that it was burnt out of.
Yes, they said it was found abandoned and burned.
Okay,
Yes.
so it was abandoned and burnt, but how did it reach Pietermaritzburg? Because they would have been arrested. The car was impounded at the time of the arrest.
That is our question currently, because it was supposed to be in the police registers.
Okay.
So the car was burned, and then they alleged that it was found abandoned. My house was burnt down. They said it was burnt by the community. So I think it's their modus of operandi.
Okay. So that's the one irregularity that you detail, that firstly, taking them to a Houghton police station in a private, not taking them to a police station and taking them to a private property.
Yes.
And the second one has to do with the car
And the
that
third one-
was impounded when they got arrested, but it ended up in KwaZulu-Natal in Pietermaritzburg.
Yes, the
burnt.
third one was the involvement of Mr. Yakub Desai.
Yes.
Also there-
Before we get to that one, while still dealing with the car, you also detail that there was a safe. On the same annexure, it talks about a safe.
Yes.
What's the status of the safe? And whose safe was it? How did it get to the car?
It was Mr. Nangi's safe that they broke it out at his house.
So the safe was taken by the police, or the safe was in the car?
No, was taken by the police.
Okay.
Yes. And then there's the third irregularity there is that Mr. Desai was still present even at the Houghton or at the Houghton offices of Vision Technical. And there was Captain Raouf from Metro Police. Just let me go through here. From Durban Metro Police, who was also present. So you ask yourself if he have a mandate in working at Gauteng in other metros, because he's based in Durban Metro. So it's got nothing to do with Gauteng, but he was also present. So for me, I also think it was also an interference and irregularity.
To have a Metro Police being part of an operation that is
Yes.
outside of the jurisdiction.
Outside of jurisdiction.
And then you mentioned also that another irregularity is that the person who was reported to be kidnapped, the brother was directly involved in assisting the police and in your torture.
Yes, he was involved.
Okay. That's another irregularity that you set out.
Yes.
Okay. Now what I would like us to do, finally, is to go back to, well, before we go back, when were you then released? Because you were taken back to the police station at KwaDukuza. Were you able to then, when was your next bail appearance, and did you appear for bail? Was the application heard?
No, it was on the 11th of December. And on the 10th, when the station commander came to visit the cell, I personally requested that I need to be assisted with medical treatment. She said she's coming back, of which she never did. And then on our next court appearances on the 11th, we therefore request that our legal service put a request that we should be transferred to Westville so that we could be able to get medical treatment there.
Were
The
you
bail didn't
transferred?
proceed. Yes, we were transferred. Transferred.
Okay, so then the remainder of your incarceration was at Westville Prison.
Yes.
Okay. And when did you finally appear for bail application?
We didn't apply for bail because on the 17th, they left Mr. Nangi at prison, and then they came and said he cannot be found, which was not true. And then on the 27th, they said someone was on leave, is only coming on the 22nd. So when we appear on the 22nd, the matter was dismissed because they stated that after careful consideration, the matter was then withdrawn.
And do you know the date for the withdrawal?
It's 22 January 2025.
It was withdrawn on the 22nd of January. And were you given reasons for this withdrawal?
They said after careful consideration, the matter was withdrawn. So I don't have other.
And there was nothing more to that?
Yes.
Okay. If we can then go back to the details surrounding the burning of your home.
Yes.
Which is where we were at the point at which the video was going to be played.
Okay.
If the video is ready.
Execute express kidnapping to make a quick buck. KwaZulu-Natal is also a province where kidnappings, both for ransom and express kidnappings, are on the increase.
5 months ago, a prominent KwaDukuza businessman, Zakaria Desai, was abducted outside this mosque. In November, KZN police traced 3 suspects, an alleged kidnapping kingpin from Mozambique, and 2 possible accomplices. One of them, a border post police officer. Then, in January this year, all charges against the trio, Ismail Nangi, Stefan Brits, and Samkeliso Mlotshwa, mysteriously vanished. But police say they are not backing down.
The investigation is not going to stop. We are 100% sure that the person, the suspect that we have, which include a policeman for that matter, they are involved in the kidnapping, and we have all the evidence. And unfortunately, when the community in that area discovered that the house that was used to keep the kidnapped person was a house that was used for criminal activities, they panicked, and that's sort of destroying all the evidence that we wanted to gather. But we have a strong information that says to us they are part of it, and they've taken the person across, because we interrogated some of them. And it's unfortunate that on the legal process that we have to follow, some of things might not be finalized immediately. So we hope that it's not an investigation that's going to end, but ultimate goal is to get the person back. The prosecution of the suspect is one thing, but to get that individual and reunite the person with the family. We do hope that with the assistance of our neighboring countries, we will be able to find us.
Desai isn't the only victim believed to have been taken across South Africa's dangerously porous borders.
The highly organized one, like the most recent one, where the person is kidnapped and they're going to demand a ransom of about 30 million rand. So we've been having a bit of a challenge on such, because most of these criminals, they don't operate here in the country, and they take the victim and they disappear with the victim. And like in the case in point that we're still busy with, we believe that the person kidnapped is being kept in Mozambique, and we've been trying to reach out to the authorities on that side to help us, but unfortunately it has not been coming through.
KwaZulu-Natal is beaten only by Gauteng.
Thank you.
At paragraph 9.6, you talk about this video, 9.7, this video that was played on the Golf Day. What do you wish to say about this video?
I want to say what the provincial commissioner of KZN said in this video is totally untrue, because he is saying that the house was burned before they could get all the evidence they want. The house was burned by community. The house was used for criminal activities. First, let's go to 9.4. I say that it is important to note that the members from DPCI, CI, KZN tracking team were already at the premises at 1320. So how can he say now that the house was burned before they came, while his police officers, they forcefully gain entry into my house without having a warrant? Even up until today, we don't have a warrant.
Could you list again who was present at that operation at your house, and what was the date that they were there?
The date is 20 November 2024. Is DPCI, Crime Intelligence, KZN tracking team, as well as extreme defense and I think it was extreme defense and vision tactical members.
Okay. So you mentioned that your house was burned on the same day.
Yes.
That they had come to do an operation.
Yes.
Were you ever given details of what they were looking for, and what they found, and what was the outcome of that operation?
They said they were looking for the kidnapped victim. They were working on the kidnapping case. But what the provincial commissioner is saying, as I'm saying, is that he is lying. It's not true what he said on the video. Because if he said the house was burned before they came, the question will be, who then break into the house? Because his police officers were there during the day. I will take this committee through the affidavits of the people who were there, as well as the affidavit of the businessman, the Indian that is owning the shop that site, who they came and came and forcefully bought his camera monitors. Can we go through, ma'am? Can I take the committee through the statement?
Yes, you may.
Okay.
Ali.
I just wanted to find out quickly that are those statement sworn affidavits?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Mlotshwa, you can't go through the entire statement,
Ah,
but you can go to the
just-
section that is relevant.
Yes, I'll do that.
Before you go ahead.
I'll not read the affidavit.
No, I just want to remind you about your commitments that you said you were going to take an hour. We have now gone over an hour. It's now 11:30. What are you saying?
Thank you, Chair. That is correct. We are at the end of the statement. And the section that we are dealing with, which details the burning of the house, is the last section. So if you could give us just 5 more minutes to complete the session.
Okay.
No, advocate, we still have to play the last video to summarize everything. We've got 2 videos.
Chairperson, the leading of evidence will be complete. We'll play the video, but the leading of evidence will be done. We'll play it at the end.
Must I continue?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, do not replace me as the chair of the ad hoc committee. If you want to play a video, you request it to be played. The 2 of you are not members of this committee. Lead the evidence. And when you are at the end of presentation of evidence, if you still have any further evidence you want to present, you request the committee.
You may continue.
Okay. The affidavit by the local councillor, who is the ward councillor of Matsulupi, Ward 27, clearly and unequivocally contradicts Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi's version. I refer the committee to Annexure SHM 03. That's the affidavit of the council. Where in this affidavit does he say that members of the community set the house on fire? What he does say is that earlier, the police that were searching the house, that there were police that were searching the house, and community members confirmed that. The house was burning still when he arrived at 23:30 on the 20 November 2024. Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi's version that the house was burned by the community and police were unable to gather evidence is a blatant liar to cover up the action of his police officers. It is important to note that the police from KZN were there at 13:20 when local police officers spoke with them. In order to destroy the evidence of what happened on the day in question, the same members visited a local truck shop owned by an Ethiopian national. The shop's CCTV cameras face my house. The officers approach the individuals, view the footage, then proceed to purchase the DVR with a monitor for 2,000 rands. They took the digital video recorder with them. The DVR was never booked into SAP 13 with the firearm. This begs to question why not, and secondly, why pay for the DVR? If the contention is that the DVR contained evidence which was pertinent to the case, then the correct procedure would have been to request for the local criminal record center to download the DVR and book it to evidence. If That is what is not possible. The DVR should have been seized and booked in the SAP 13 at Matsulu, which is the required procedure. There is no record of anything except the state firearm and ammunition being booked in the SAP 13 by the officers. They were not gathering evidence, they were destroying evidence. I think I've touched on the important.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mlotshwa. So you said, basically you said out that the reason why you don't believe the version that was played on the video is because on the same day that your house was burnt, at 13:20 they were there. And additionally, there was video footage which was in the possession of the team that went to your house, but that video footage is nowhere in the evidence that has been submitted in respect of burning your house. And you also add that there is no evidence to show that the community, in fact, is who burned down your house, because the version of events as set out on the video is not what actually transpired. That is what you set out in that paragraph. Is that your evidence?
Yes, that's my evidence, because even though, let's say for argument's sake, the house was a crime scene, the police officers still had a duty to protect that house. They had a legal duty, once they are done with the investigation, to go and report the matter to Matsulu police station to safeguard the house until I return one or they find the caretaker to go and fix whatever that they've broken there. They didn't do that. They didn't do that.
What is the status of the investigation on your house?
I don't know. We have to ask IP and the police.
Okay, but you did report it?
I did report. I have a case 73 of 11/2024.
Okay. Once the case was withdrawn against you for the kidnapping, you mentioned that you were put on suspension. Was the suspension uplifted?
No, they're still not paying me.
Was the suspension uplifted?
No, not.
So you did not receive a letter to that effect?
No.
Okay, and you still have not returned to work?
Yes, because I had to deal with mental health issues. I had to attend psychiatrist, all those. And it was hard because I had to pay cash because they canceled the medical aid, everything.
Okay. Chairperson, the affidavit has been covered. However, the witness says that he has a second video which he would like to play. I request, I'm in your hands, Chairperson, whether we can play that video or not.
We have the video one.
But you can maybe take it between 3 minutes and 5.
Let's play the.
I think it's a long video, but you can just play between 3 minutes and 7 minutes.
Officer of him. The whole thing about the correctional service, it started there, introduced to me by a person who claimed to be close to the minister. The only person he mentions in the report is General Khan. And I go for the hearing, and the outcome of the hearing favors very same General Khan. And next thing, the IP, who the one that made the recommendation about charging Khan, they are now suddenly investigating this one. So for me, my suspicion on all these things about correctional service is that somebody within IP wanted Khan gone. By all means, they wanted to get rid of him from the organization. And not only him, and the others that were recommended. But they were not successful, because we did not just go in a dismal hearing with our eyes blind. We tested evidence, and as a police officer, it pained me to see that the person who saved the organization's image, General Khan, in 2021, is the one now who's been subjected to a case like that. And it was just not fair. That I cleared him, because evidence was presented there. We couldn't justify that Khan had done anything wrong. Instead, he is the one who should be giving a medal for what he did, because he saved the organization's image on the day. But it will appear that within IP, whoever people that made the recommendation for him to be charged, they're upset about the decision. I feel the whole investigation didn't come from there. I don't think it initiated by anyone. If you are saying Jarosibia had something to do, whoever is spreading the rumor, I don't believe that Jarosibia had anything to do with that. Not at all. I feel it comes from that institution who wanted Khan gone. Because they couldn't get him out, now they're turning their focus on me. Well, I'll take it. They can try whatever they will come up with. So if they will do this investigation, they can launch any other investigation that they want to. They've got a constitutional right to do that. I can't stop them. But the truth will always come out. So I'm not puzzled. I'm not afraid of anything. If they decide that they are going to launch an investigation, and they're welcome to do that for any other person. Of late, I heard that there is also my name is mentioned on a kidnapping of that person from Watu who was kidnapped, and those suspected were arrested. They say no, I was part of that whole investigation that I'm told it ran all the way. I know the team went following up this, and it was DPCI team, not even under the provincial commissioner. But they went to Gauteng, went to Mpumalanga province, and eventually it looks like this other policeman who was alleged to be suspect was caught in Mozambique and brought back into South Africa. Really, the whole issue of the case was handled by DPCI. Until those people were released was DPCI meant. You know, DPCI don't necessarily report to the provincial commissioner. They work independently. So at what stage then do I become part of that? So obviously, if someone feels that they need to target me for whatever reason, I can't stop them. They can do that. But if we're to say all these are happening because of Jarosibia, I'll say then no, that's not true. It can.
Thank you, Chair. Do you have comments on the video?
Yes. I just want to show the committee how the provincial commissioner's positions change with this matter. At first, he was giving interviews. He was not referring them to DPCI. He was actively involved. He was there when we were assaulted. He made statements saying the house was burned by the community. But after our release and after we've opened the cases, his positions changed now. He's playing the victim game. He's saying the matter is for DPCI. While he was fully active, he participated even in the torture. I just wanted to show the commission how the general changed his position. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Mlotshwa. We have come to the end of the presentation of your evidence. Honorable members, do you want to engage with Mr. Mlotshwa's presentation?